And the Oscar goes to Christopher Nolan Oppenheimer.
Christopher Nolan has carved a unique niche in modern cinema. His films aren't just watched, they are experienced, debated, and rewatched. But what is it about the Nolan's film that makes it so Nolan? One of Nolan's most recognizable signatures is his audacious use of non-linear storytelling.
And this is running backwards as a series of jumps. And what we do is we cut between the two the whole way through. So we alternate scene here, scene there, scene there, scene there, scene there, scene there, and they meet towards the end of the film.
He doesn't just cut between timelines, he weaves them, often to reflect the fractured psychology of his characters. Take his breakout, Memento. Leonard Shelby's short-term memory loss isn't just a plot device, it is the structure. We experience the story backwards in color, punctuated by forward-moving black and white sequences. Even in a more conventionally structured film like Insomnia, Nolan plays with perception and fragmented realities. Never-ending daylight blurs time for Al Pacino's character, mirroring his moral ambiguity and sleep deprivation. In Inception, we have dreams within dreams, each operating on a different temporal scale. A few minutes in one level could be hours or days in another. The genius here is how Nolan merges this timeline into a very cohesive, high-stake experience, with the ticking clock in each layer building an incredible sense of urgency.
There was an initial state of confusion, certainly, with everyone that read the screenplay. Chris Nolan is a visionary filmmaker. He's somebody that comes up with very complex narratives and is able to pull them off in a grand fashion.
Docking on the surface seems like a straightforward war film, but Nolan structured it in three different timelines: the mole, the sea, and the air. He cuts between these not to confuse but to build tension and show the multifaceted nature of the evacuation. The viewer experiences the simultaneous pressure from land, sea, and air. Nolan often uses the concept of time not just as a structural element but as a deeply personal and emotional one. His character frequently grapple with the subjective experience of time. Interstellar is a prime example. The effect of relativity means that, for Cooper, mere hours on a distant planet equate to decades for his children back on Earth. This creates an immense emotional weight. He makes us feel the crushing burden of lost time, the sacrifices made, and the profound love that transcends even the fabric of the universe. This structure reinforces the emotional core. And then there's Oppenheimer.
It's less of a film and more of an experience. It's like Chris likes to describe it as 3D without the glasses, you know?
While generally linear, Nolan brilliantly uses contrasting timelines and perspective, the fission and the fusion sequences. The fission timeline explores Oppenheimer's rise and the creation of the bomb, while the fusion sequence, shot in stark black and white, frames his post-war persecution and the moral aftermath. This dual narrative forces us to constantly re-evaluate his actions through different ethical and historical lenses.
It asks a lot of questions, some of the big kind of, ethical, moral, paradoxical questions that there is.
Tenet introduces the concept of inversion, where objects and even people can move backward through time.
The film deals with this concept of inversion, which is the idea that the entropy of an object or a person could be reversed.
Nolan doesn't just show this, he integrates it into the very fabric of the action sequences and the narrative progression.
They're going to see things in this film that they've been playing around with for 20 years. You know, the idea of a bullet jumping out of the wall and going back into the gun. I mean, it's there metaphorically in Memento, right back there. These are images and ideas I've been fascinated by and looking to synthesize to a form where it's not structural, it's not metaphorical, it's real. It's what the characters are actually dealing with, it's concrete reality.
The structure here demands active participation from the audience. We're not just observers, constantly trying to piece together the causality of events that are happening both forwards and backwards simultaneously. So, what are the recurring elements in Nolan's structural toolkit that allows him to build these narratives? I've broken them into 5. 1. a ticking clock. Almost every Nolan film has an urgent deadline. Whether it's the time until a kick in Inception or the Earth's last gasp in Interstellar, a ticking clock amplifies the tension. 2. A mystery at the core. Nolan loves to present a central puzzle or question what the audience alongside the protagonist must solve. Who is Cobb's wife in Inception? What happened to Leonardo's wife in Memento? What is the algorithm in Tenet? 3. A fragmented protagonist. His characters often have fractured memories, identities, or are grappling with deep internal conflicts. This internal fragmentation is often mirrored by the external narrative structure. 4. The intercutting master. Nolan's editing is precise and purposeful. He cross-cuts between different timelines, locations, and even emotional states to create a cohesive, often exhilarating narrative flow. And 5. Ambiguous endings. Many of his films conclude with a degree of ambiguity, forcing the audience to ponder the outcome long after the credits roll. The spinning top in Inception, the final shot in Dark Knight Rises, the moral implication of Oppenheimer. Christopher Nolan isn't just a filmmaker, he's a cinematic architect. He doesn't just tell stories, he constructs intricate experiences that challenge our perception of time, reality, and causality. By embracing non-linear narratives, intertwined timelines, and subjective perspectives, he elevates storytelling beyond simple exposition. He invites us to be active participants, to piece together the puzzle alongside his characters, and to feel the emotional weight of every temporal shift.